Hey, welcome to the lesson on writing formulas and compound names for covalent compounds. Let's begin. A covalent compound contains two non-metal elements joined together by covalent bonds, or in other words, the sharing of electrons. The atoms of the non-metal elements in a covalent compound share electrons with one another. A covalent compound can combine in several ways when forming a compound. Most of the compound types are determined by experimentation. Ion charges are not used to predict the chemical formula. For example, carbon combines with oxygen to form the following compounds: CO and CO2. Since the atoms can combine in more than one specified way, prefixes are used in the compound name to specify the number of atoms of each nonmetal. So here are a list of the prefixes and the number that they represent. Naming covalent compounds. Step 1. Name the leftmost element in the formula first. Step 2. Name the second element and change the ending to IDE. 3. Add a prefix to each element's name to indicate the number of atoms of each, and do not use a prefix if there is only one atom of the first element. For example, CO, we write the prefix and name for each element. So that's carbon and oxygen. Oxygen changes to oxide, and we add a prefix, so it becomes monocarbon, which means one carbon, monooxide, which means one oxygen. And then if there's only one of the first element, then we get rid of it. So we eliminate mono from carbon, and we just write carbon monoxide. Okay, write the compound name for the following compounds. Pause the video now and try this on your own. Use the prefixes that were given earlier. Okay, the first one is dinitrogen trioxide, and the second one is nitrogen dioxide. If you got those correct, you're ready to move on. Okay, next, writing chemical formulas for covalent compounds. Example, write the chemical formula for diphosphorus pentaoxide. Identify the elements present in the covalent compound, that's step 1. So it's phosphorus and oxygen. Step 2, determine the ratio of each ion using prefixes. So it's 2 phosphorus and 5 oxygen. We do not use the periodic table to determine this. We use the prefixes in the name. So it's diphosphorus, which means 2 phosphorus, and pentaoxide. Penta means 5. So it's 2 phosphorus to 5 oxygen. And step 3, using the element symbols and ratio, write the chemical formula. So it's P2O5. Okay, try writing the chemical formula for nitrogen trioxide and tetraphosphorus hexaoxide. Pause the video and give those a try. Okay, the answers are NO3 and P4O6. If you got those correct, you can move on. So next, how can you tell by looking at a chemical formula if it is ionic or covalent? If the compound contains both a metal and a nonmetal, or positive and negative ions, then it's ionic. If the compound contains only nonmetals, then it is covalent. Examples, classify the following as either ionic or covalent. Pause the video and see if you can classify them. Okay, so the first one, NaCl, is ionic. The second one, H2O, is covalent. The third one, CO2, is covalent. And the fourth one, Fen, is ionic. So differences between ionic compounds and covalent compounds. Ionic compounds form an ionic lattice, which is a clump of atoms stuck together, and covalent compounds form definite molecules. Here's a further more detailed list of some of the differences between ionic and covalent compounds. And that concludes the presentation. You're ready to move on to the practice questions.